Hello and welcome back to another video on the rest of it and to another edition of Smackdown Out of 10. Despite coming up short inside the chamber, Cody Rhodes was granted a World Championship match on this week's show. So yeah, a lot of the focus was on that. And we also got the usual US Open Challenge. We had number one contenders for the tag titles as well, so a lot's going on. But after a quick recap of the chamber, the men's winner Randy Orton made his way to the ring looking very happy. He talked about how he's main evented WrestleMania twice, despite all the title wins and accomplishments, but it's time for number 3. He spoke about the different legends who have influenced his career and put over the talented roster. He shares a locker room with them. He said it doesn't matter who he faces because he's not leaving Mania empty-handed. Trick Williams came out to interrupt him, but he was dropped with an RKO seconds after he got in the ring. This was a pretty standard segment, but Orton had a crowd in the palm of his hand, and the RKO to Trick Willie definitely got a big pop. So yeah, that was good stuff. As we then moved on to Carmelo Hayes' Open Challenge, and Nick Aldis told him challengers were contacting him from around the world, and this week it was Triple H, Hio Del Warner Jr., and we've seen Warner pop up in NXT a few times, but this was his first singles match on the main roster. The challenger took control right away, with a decent size advantage over Mello, and he is quick enough to keep up with him, so Wagner seemed to have the upper hand. A fun change of pace to have someone from AAA answer the Open Challenge. Management clearly sees value in Wagner, and it wouldn't be surprising to see him make a permanent WWE move. He and Hayes had a solid match that gave both men plenty of chance to slide. Mello continues to be one of the best parts of SmackDown every week. Wagner kicked out the first 48, but missed the moonsault and cleared the way for Mello to hit his finisher for the win. Overall, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. As we then moved on to Nia Jax and Lash Legend celebrating winning the tag titles from Rio last week. They bragged about winning the titles and toasted with champagne as Pyro went off near the stage. Before they could even take a sip, Charlotte and Alexa came out and said the only reason they lost the titles a while back was that Jax and Legend kept getting involved. Julia and Kiana James showed up to make their intentions clear too. This led to all this coming out and booking a tag title match, with the implication being that the winners will get a title shot in the future. We returned to see the match in progress, with Flair taking it to both opponents until she went into the ring post. All the 4 superstars had good moments, asking for 2 breaks, so they had lots of time. They had a couple of hiccups, but most of what we got here was good, and the Queen scored the win for her team with a natural selection to Julia. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. As Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes then had a tense exchange backstage before we went back to the ring for the tag team turmoil, determining number 1 contenders for the MFT tag titles. First we got Fraxium defeating MCMG before Angel and Berto defeated Fraxium, and then Gacy and Loomis, and then Damian Priest and R-Truth defeated them in the final. The MFTs came out to cost the White Six match, so it looked like that feud is going to keep on going. The match played out like any other gauntlet, but something was holding it back. It might have been something to do with the division being booked poorly in recent months, which kept it from being as exciting as it could be. The exclusion of the Street Profits as well was also a weird choice, since they have been barely used recently. So yeah, overall I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Before we got backstage segment with Zayn and Orton talking, Rhea came to ring for her face-to-face meeting with Jade. They had some interesting exchanges on social media this week, so WWE obviously wants to capitalise on the buzz from that. Cargill shook Ripley's hand and said she respects her and what she's accomplished, but she promised to win at WrestleMania. Ripley said she respects her honesty, but said Jade's body is only built to show while hers built for fighting. This was a pretty solid promo segment. They didn't overstay their welcome and said everything needed to without it really being a bunch of filler, if you know what I mean. Before, Johnny Gargano came out and said it's time to be Johnny Wrestling again. He challenged anyone in the locker room to come out and fight him, leading to Obafemi showing up. Gargano tried to wrestle the ruler and quickly found himself in the corners being crushed by Femi's charging strikes. He hit the fall from grace for the very fast win. It was basically a definition of a squat. So yeah, it wasn't a fair way to grade it. It's basically 3 moves and then the pin. I mean, it makes Femi looks good, but I've got to say it is a bit of a shame for Johnny Wrestling. Before, Danhausen was shown asking Aldis to find him a mentor who was taken to the top. Aldis had the Miz and told him to mentor Danhausen, but the A-lister ended up cursed and said, I don't know, I like Danhausen, man, it's quite funny stuff. Before we got that main event, McIntyre tried to leave as soon as the ref called for the bell, but Rose chased him down and fought him to the ring. The ref didn't even tried to count them out. The American Nightmare tried to hit the crossroads on the announce table, but it collapsed with a Scottish Jacob half countering it and fell onto it. McIntyre got another table from under the ring and put Rhodes through it with a powerbomb. He also stole Rhodes' finisher, but he wasn't able to put him away with it. Cody was able to hit the finisher, but the ref was knocked out moments earlier. Another ref ran to the ring right as McIntyre hit the Claymore, but Rhodes kicked out. McIntyre ended up intentionally knocking the second ref out of anger and then grabbed a chair. Fatu took it away from him and Rhodes hit a cutter from the top rope, followed by a crossroads for the pin and win. These two men have known each other for a long time, so had years of chemistry strong. While the outcome might anger some fans, it was a great match, and to be honest, I think it's kind of expected as well. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And overall this week, SmackDown, gets a 7 out of 10 from me. I did the job moving forward to WrestleMania. Other than the squash match, everything felt worked. The tag turmoil was maybe a bit lacking, but you know, Truth and Priest could freshen it up. You know, Hayes and Wagner put on a good show, but all eyes were on the main event, and I think obviously Cody winning the title back soon was maybe in some ways surprising, but it did help to elevate the show. It is a controversial decision to have it win it back so soon, but we'll have to see, I think, how it pays off at WrestleMania.
Guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.